The skull beneath the skin. My name is Johann Schmidt. You know me by another name. A name whispered in fear. A name spat like a curse. The Red Skull. A monster from a children's story. A ghost of a war you think you won. But before the mask there was a face. Before the monster there was a boy. And that boy is who I want you to see. I want you to understand, not to forgive. Understanding is more honest than forgiveness. My first memory is of the cold. Not the crisp, clean cold of a winter morning. It was the deep, wet cold of the gutter. The kind that seeps into your bones and never truly leaves. I was born in winter, and winter was born in me. My mother died bringing me into this world. My father, in his grief, tried to drown me. Me, a baby. He saw me not as a son, but as the reason for his loss. He failed, of course. He was a weak man. He took his own life soon after. I was an orphan before I knew what the word meant. I grew up on the streets. A rat in the walls of a dying city. I learned what hunger was. Not the pleasant ache before a meal, but the gnawing emptiness that eats you from the inside out. I learned what it was to be invisible. People would look right through me. A dirty smudge on the perfect picture of their world. Do you know what that does to a person? To be nothing. To have no name, no family, no warmth. To be less than a dog in the street. Dogs were fed. I stole scraps. And in that nothingness, I saw the truth of the world. The real world. Not the one you are told about in your schools and your churches. The world is not kind. It is not fair. It is a terrible, churning machine, and its only fuel is power. The strong eat, the weak are eaten. That is the only law. I saw it every day. The fat merchant who would kick me away from his door, the soldier who would laugh as I begged, the beautiful women who would pull their skirts away in disgust. They had power, I had none. And I hated them for it. I hated their warmth, their full bellies, their easy smiles. But most of all, I hated their weakness. You see, they were not truly strong. They were just lucky, born into the right families, the right houses. Their strength was a lie. A comfortable blanket they wrapped around themselves. I knew, even then, that a single push could send their perfect world tumbling down. And I dreamed of being the one to push. I survived. I learned to lie, to steal, to fight. I did things that would make your stomach turn, but I was alive. And every day I survived was a victory. A tiny act of defiance against a world that wanted me dead. Then he came, the Führer. You see him as a madman, a monster. And he was, but you did not see what I saw. I was in a crowd, just another face. But he looked out, and his eyes, they were like fire. He spoke of strength, of purity, of a new Germany, a new world rising from the ashes of the old. He spoke of destiny. And when he spoke, for the first time in my life, I felt seen. He was not just talking about a nation. He was talking about me, the boy in the gutter. He was promising a world where the weak would be swept away. A world where strength was the only virtue. A world where I would no longer be invisible. I clawed my way into his circle. I did whatever was asked. I was ruthless. I was efficient. I had no morals to hold me back. Morality is a luxury for those who have never been hungry. I became his instrument. But I was never just a follower. I was a believer. I believed in the vision more than he did. He wanted to rule a nation. I saw a bigger picture. I saw the entire world groaning under the weight of its own weakness. Humanity is a child. A screaming, foolish child playing with fire. It cries for freedom, but secretly begs for a firm hand. It builds gods, and then curses them for not answering their prayers. It is chaotic. It is flawed. It needs to be saved from itself. I created Hydra from the shadows of the Reich. My vision not his. The Führer's ambition was limited by borders on a map. Mine was not. My ambition was for the soul of mankind. A world of perfect order. A world where every person has their place, their purpose. No more chaos, no more uncertainty, no more weakness. To achieve this, I needed more than just armies. I needed power beyond men. I found the old stories, the legends the world had forgotten. I searched for the Tesseract, the jewel of Odin's treasure room. They thought it was a myth. I knew it was real. And I found Dr. Erskine, a brilliant man, a foolish man. He was creating a serum, a formula to create a super soldier, to make a man into the best version of himself. He wanted to give it to a good man. A good man. What a pathetic idea. A good man is a weak man. A good man hesitates. A good man feels pity. Pity is a poison. I knew what the serum was for. It was not to make a good man better. It was to make a strong man stronger. To burn away the final remnants of doubt and fear. I took the serum. I did not wait for his permission. Power is not given. It is taken. The pain was absolute. It was like being reborn in fire. Every cell in my body screamed. I felt my skin, my flesh, my muscles being torn apart and remade. I felt the face I had worn my entire life, melting away, peeling back. When it was over, I looked in the mirror, and I saw the truth. The face that stared back at me was not a monster. It was pure, the skull beneath the skin. All the lies of flesh, all the pretense of humanity burned away. All that was left was the will, the strength, the purpose. I was not disfigured. I was revealed. I had become what I was always meant to be. The Red Skull. And I was beautiful. I held the Tesseract in my hand. I looked into it and saw everything. Galaxies, nebulae, the birth and death of stars, the power of the gods. I was no longer Johann Schmidt, the street rat. I was a god, and I would bring order to a universe that craved it. Then, they sent him. Captain America, Steve Rogers. A small, weak boy from Brooklyn. Everything I had been. But where I saw the world's cruelty and grew hard, he saw it and grew good. Erskine got his wish after all. He gave his perfect serum to his perfect, good man. They dressed him in a ridiculous costume. A circus performer. A child's toy. They made him a symbol of everything I despised. Hope. Freedom. The foolish idea that any man can be a hero. He was my opposite in every way, and I hated him with a passion I had never felt for anyone. He was not just my enemy. He was an insult to my entire existence. He was the living proof of the lie I had spent my life trying to destroy. The lie that weakness could be noble. We fought. Of course, we fought. It was inevitable. The future of the world balanced on the fists of two men who started as nothing. On my plane, as the world burned below, we had our final battle. He was strong. I will give him that. The serum worked, but he was still a child. He fought for flags, for ideals, for hope. I fought for reality, for order, for the necessary painful truth. I held the Tesseract, the power of space itself. I told him what I saw, a power he could never understand. I was on the verge of victory, not just over him, but over everything. And then it happened. The cube. It became unstable. I held it. I tried to command it, but it was too much. The power was not meant for a container of flesh, even flesh as perfected as mine. A portal opened. A light, not of this world, consumed me. It was not death. It was worse. I was thrown across the stars, across dimensions, I traveled for an eternity in a single moment. I saw the beginning of time and the end of all things. I saw truths that would shatter a lesser mind. And I was deposited on a world, a barren, haunted place at the center of celestial existence. Formia. The Tesseract, in its cruel wisdom, had not killed me. It had given me a new purpose. It had judged me. Me, who sought ultimate power over the universe, was made a slave to it, a prisoner. I became the Stonekeeper, a guide, a ghost cursed to explain the ultimate price of power to any who sought it, for decades, for centuries. Time has no meaning in that place. I watched the stars turn. I saw empires rise and fall in the blink of an eye. And I waited. People came, beings from 1,000 worlds, all of them seeking the Soul Stone, all of them hungry for the same thing I had been, power. And I had to tell them the price. A soul for a soul. I, who had never loved anything, had to explain the mechanics of love as a cosmic law. The irony was not lost on me. I saw it again and again. A father sacrificing his daughter. A man sacrificing the woman he loved. They would weep, they would scream, and they would make the choice. I watched them pay a price I could never pay. Because to pay it, you must have something to lose. Something you value more than yourself. I had only ever valued myself, my will, my ambition. I saw the Titan, Thanos. He arrived with his daughter. I looked into his eyes and I saw the same fire I had. The same absolute conviction. He, too, wanted to bring balance to the universe through an act of terrible, world-shattering will. He believed his cause was just. He believed the sacrifice was necessary. He loved that girl. I could see it. But he loved his purpose more. He threw her from the cliff, and he left with the stone. In that moment I saw my own reflection. A being of immense power, willing to sacrifice anything for his vision of order. He succeeded where I failed. And I had to stand there, a silent witness to his triumph, the ghost in his story. And then, years later, 2 more came. A woman in black, a man with a bow. They fought. They fought not to kill each other, but to save each other. They both wanted to be the sacrifice. It was illogical. An expression of love so pure it defied all reason. The woman won. She fell. And the man left with the stone. After that, it was over. My watch was ended. The stones were gone. The curse was broken. I was free. I am free. But what am I now? Johann Schmidt is dead. The Red Skull, he is a memory. A story they tell their children. I am a shadow, a wanderer between worlds. I have seen the face of God and the heart of the abyss. I have held infinity in my hand and lost it. Do I have regrets? I regret failing. I regret my miscalculations. I regret underestimating the foolish, sentimental power of the human heart. It is an irrational force, a variable I never properly accounted for. But do I regret my vision, my purpose? No. Look at your world. Look at it now. It is still drowning in chaos. You fight your wars over patches of dirt and foolish pride. You poison your planet. You starve your own people. You are still the same frightened children, lost in the dark. I wanted to give you order. I wanted to give you a world without fear, because I would have been the only thing to fear. I wanted to cut away the disease so the body could live. A surgeon is not evil for using a knife. I was right. I am still right. My methods were severe, perhaps. But greatness requires sacrifice. Your heroes, they save one life at a time. They patch the wounds. I wanted to cure the sickness forever. So now you know. You have seen the boy in the gutter. You have seen the man who reached for the stars. And you have seen the skull beneath the skin. Am I a monster? Or was I simply a man who saw the world for what it truly is, and had the courage to try and fix it? My name is Johann Schmidt, and I am not finished. The world will always need someone to show it the truth. And the truth has a face like mine.